Hey guys, DMS here. Today I have for you the AirPods Max. Let's check it out. So this is not a full review, this is just my brief first impressions. I got these in today and that's not enough time to form all of my opinions on them, but I do have a few general starting ideas, a few things I want to talk about, and a few things that stand out to me. So initially feeling them, they are not built poorly, but there are some major design oversights. A lot of people complained about the button placement. I actually really don't mind that. It feels pretty natural, it's pretty easy to use. So no complaints there. Mine did come with some very minor blemishes. I don't know if it's going to show up on camera. I'll have to use a macro lens to show this when I do the full review. There are some minor blemishes here that is under the anodized coating, it looks like, on the actual aluminum itself. So not perfect finishing. I do think this mesh is probably going to eventually wear out, and it doesn't look like this is going to be easily replaceable when that happens, though the mesh is very comfortable. It is nice. This is a relatively heavy headphone, and they do feel heavy, though I did quickly get used to the weight. I do like how when you open them, they sort of snap out at some point. Like right in here, there's like a tipping point where they snap outwards into place, which is kind of cool. The pads are nice, they don't get too hot. They come on and off very easily, though on one side there's a hole for this sensor to come through, and you can put them on backwards covering the sensor. I feel like they should have put a notch or something in there because somebody's going to put their pads on backwards and then these aren't going to function properly. The adjustments on the side are pretty nice. I don't mind that one bit. They have not immediately connected to my phone as easily and as effortlessly as the regular AirPods or AirPods Pros have, but it hasn't been too big of a deal. They did seamlessly transition from my phone to my laptop, so that is at least nice. The case is a weird one. This is probably the stupidest thing that I think Apple has done in a very long time. It's not that the case feels like it's a bad design, but it leaves open parts of the headphone you wouldn't want to get scratched. It at least has a notch cut out for the charging cable. I almost expected them to neglect that. But here's the big problem. When you are not using this headphone, if you want to power off the headphone, you have to lay it flat and you have to put it in the case. If you do not put these in the case, they will not power off. That is so stupid. I don't know who thought that was a good idea. And given the number of people that were probably involved in the design of this, I'm extremely surprised that not one person or not enough people on the team came forward and said that this is a terrible idea and it made it through to production. Why would you do this? There's enough buttons on this headphone that you could easily make it so one of them turns off the headphone. I don't want to carry this with me everywhere, and it severely inhibits the portability of this device. If I put this thing on and I leave the house, I can't carry this in a pocket. I have to bring another bag or a backpack or something just for my headphones when I'm not wearing them. So I go to the office for the day, I bring these headphones, or I'm wearing these headphones, I also have to bring this stupid case just so I can get them to turn off. Very bad design right there. Now, the headphone itself, initial impressions for that, transparency mode is excellent. There's several times today where I was talking to people in the office while I was listening to music quietly and forgot that I was wearing a headphone. Just seemed like background music that was playing in the room. Transparency mode is excellent. The active noise canceling seems to work better than the other headphones I've tested. I'm going to do benchmarks of that and confirm, do more A/B testing. But this ANC does have more of the cabin pressure sort of effect on my ears when it is activated. Not as much when I'm playing music, but if it just passively is sitting on, it's pretty intense compared to things like the QC35 II or the Bose 700s, the Sony XM4s, things like that. There is a slight noise floor when I'm in active noise canceling mode, more so than I would get with some other headphones, but not terrible. This does seem to, because of the noise canceling, have a higher noise floor than the Drop Panda, which probably arguably has better internal amplification, though that doesn't have active noise canceling. Now here's where this gets interesting. Right off the bat, this does not wirelessly support as high of bit rates as many other Bluetooth closeback headphones, like the XM4s, the NC700s, and things like that. The Pandas, the Bang & Olufsens, and so on. Though I would argue that the internal amplification and DAC quality and tuning probably matter more than that, though it is certainly an important factor. Immediate impression is that the Drop Panda is more detailed. The Sony XM4 is not a very detailed headphone, and I find the tuning of it abysmal. So I don't think that it stands up very well in this comparison, and basically every way I find the AirPods Max to be better than the XM4s. And yes, I understand the XM4s are cheaper, but it's a headphone a lot of people are comparing this to, and I don't think it's a worthy comparison at all. The tuning of these is probably better than the vast majority. They are a little bit dark in some regions of the treble, but it kind of picks back up in the upper trebles, so there's a little bit of sparkle up there. There is a boost in the sub bass, not like in the full bass region, because that feels pretty flat and linear. There's no bloat, there's no mud there. But in the sub region, so we're talking like 50 hertz, 40 hertz, it does elevate, and it feels elevated. A little bit more than my taste, but it's not bad, because generally when headphones have that, it also bleeds into the lower mid-range and gets really boomy and bloaty, kind of like some of the problems that I had with the K371. And this doesn't seem to suffer from that, so that's at least nice. I would say the tuning is very inoffensive. It's not incredible, but it really doesn't have any major faults in the tuning. And that in itself does make it better tuned than the vast majority of closed-back headphones on the market. Now, this is certainly assisted with DSP, because pretty much every closed-back headphone usually has some sort of weird dips in strange places, and this doesn't seem to. So the active DSP is certainly doing something, and it's doing it well. You can use this as a wired headphone. I'm going to do more testing on that and see how that affects the quality of the headphone. But if you're using it for work or for movies or anything where you can't have any latency, wired does help with that. Wireless, the latency isn't terrible, but it's comparable to things like the AirPods Pro, around 140 or so milliseconds. So not really what I would use for timeline editing, in at least Bluetooth mode. I think that this is going to come down to a battle between this headphone and the Drop Panda as far as sound quality is concerned, but across the board otherwise, this does certainly stand above the rest of the pack as far as Bluetooth headphones are concerned. But the problem there is that we are picking out of the best of the worst. When it comes to Bluetooth headphones, there's not really many high quality options. Most Bluetooth headphones are bottom of the barrel for sound quality. The XM4s are very unexceptional. The Bang & Olufsens are unexceptional. The Bose are very unexceptional. They're all headphones that are just okay when it comes to sound quality. They're never exceptional, they're never surprising, they'll never wow you. And I feel that way about some songs when I'm listening on these so far, but there are also songs that I play and am very surprised by the levels of detail it's pulling out, even with its lower bitrate Bluetooth connection than some of these other headphones. So all in all, a lot more testing has to happen. There are things out there like the Ananda Bluetooth, but I didn't really like the Ananda to begin with, and the Bluetooth amp in the Ananda Bluetooth is not particularly impressive. You could go that route, but I don't think these headphones are anywhere near comparable. They're for entirely different use cases. It doesn't really make any sense to compare them. So that's about that. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good headphone, all things considered. It's hard for me to complain too much about it aside from some ridiculous design faults, but I'm going to test this thing a whole hell of a lot. I don't know if the review is going to come this week or next week, but it'll be relatively soon after I feel like I've covered all my bases, because I feel like this is an important enough of a headphone that we really don't want to miss anything here. Based off my initial impressions, I think that at least a chunk of audiophiles are going to like it. I haven't quite decided myself if I'm going to keep this or not, or if I'm going to sell it or what after this review is done with, but I will let you guys know when that video comes out what I'm planning to do. So far though, I am enjoying them quite a bit, and I will keep you guys posted. So that is not a review, this was my initial impressions of AirPods Max. Like I said, the review's coming in the near future, but until then, that's all I have for you guys today. If you like this video, please leave a like down below, a comment letting me know what you want to see in the future. If you want to get active in the community, you can at forum.hifiguides.com. And as always, don't forget to stick around and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Till the next one, guys. Peace.